Separation of biomolecules by using electrophoresis. The principle and different techniques which are involved we have studied in the earlier classes, and this is an example for the horizontal gel electrophoresis, that is separation of DNA fragments. So we are taking DNA sample. Along with the DNA sample, we are adding the restriction enzymes to break the DNA into a smaller fragments. So these restriction enzymes will cleave the DNA into a smaller segments of the different sizes. So the DNA segments are loaded into the wells, the sample wells. So you can see these are the wells. The DNA segments are loaded into the wells in a porous gel along with the DNA. So the gel floats in a buffer solution within a chamber between the two electrodes. So when the electric current which is being applied, it starts flowing through according to their ability to move towards the respective electrodes. So the DNA fragments move towards the positively charged cathode. So the smaller DNA fragments moves faster and larger than when compared to the larger ones. So as a result of that, so you can see the different zones. These different zones indicates the different fragments of the DNA. The smaller fragments will be moving faster towards the cathode and the larger fragments will be moving slower. So as a result of that, there will be different zones. So this different zones indicates the different fragments of DNA. So as a result of that, we can separate by using this gel electrophoresis. Next is cellulose acetate electrophoresis. This contains 2 to 3 acetyl groups per glucose unit, and its adsorption capacity is less than that of the paper. So it gives a sharper bands, and it has been widely used in clinical laboratories. A little tailing is been encountered due to the negligible adsorption, so it can be neglected. So it provides a good background for the staining glycoproteins. So for the glycoproteins, so it can be used for the separation. So what are the advantages? So the advantages are the no tailing of proteins or hydrophilic materials observed here, and it is available in a wide range of particle size and layer thickness. Accordingly, we can choose based on our type of separation. We can choose accordingly because it is having a wide range of particle size, and it gives a sharp bands and offer good resolution. This is the one advantage, and high voltage can be applied which will enhance the resolution. So this is the one more advantage, that is the high voltage can be applied which will enhance the resolution. Resolution will be increased. These are the disadvantages. The disadvantages are it is quite expensive, and the presence of sulfonic and carboxylic acid residues causes induced electroosmosis during the process. So this is the disadvantage. These are the two disadvantages, and where and all it can be applicable. So as we know that widely used in the analysis of clinical and biological protein samples, especially for albumins and globulins. So it can be used as an alternate to the paper electrophoresis. In case by using paper electrophoresis, we are not able to separate the analyte molecules in the mixture, and we can use this as an alternative technique. Next is capillary electrophoresis. As the name itself indicates, we are using a capillary here for the separation of analyte molecules. So the length of this capillary which is commonly used will be varying from 40 centimeter to 100 centimeter. So it varies from 40 to 100 centimeter. So here the sample will be applied. So the sample application will be done here, and this will be done either by a high voltage injection potential and is applied, which causes the sample to enter the capillary by the combination of ionic attraction and electroosmotic flow. So the pressure difference which is used here to drive the sample into capillary. So here the pressure difference is created by applying the vacuum. So the volume of sample injection is being controlled by the duration of injection. So when the potential difference is being applied, the net negative charge migrate in the direction of the cathode due to the phenomena called as electroosmotic flow. So the positively charged species move faster. Here the speed is the sum of electroosmotic flow and electrophoretic mobility, and negatively charged molecules lag behind the other species. So the neutral molecules will move at the same speed as that of the electroosmotic flow. So as a result of that, positively charged, negatively charged and neutral molecules will be separated. The next one is isotachophoresis. So isotachophoresis means, iso means equal, tachos means speed, phoresis is migration. So equal speed migration. So base here the separation takes place due to the equal speed migration. So the technique of isotachophoresis depends upon the development of potential gradient. So when the potential gradient is there, so the separation will be taking place. So the principle behind this is a leading electrolyte, that is normally a chloride solution with a higher mobility than the analytes, and the trailing electrolyte, which is called as glycinate, with a lower mobility are used here. So after the application of the electric potential, a low electric field is being created in the leading electrolyte and a high electrical field is in the terminating electrolyte. So the pH at sample level is determined by the counter ion of the leading electrolyte. So that migrates in the opposite direction. So in the first stage, the sample constituents migrates at different speeds and starts to separate from each other. This starts to separate from each other. The faster constituents will create a lower electrical field in the leading part of the sample zone, and the lower constituents will create a higher electrical field. So finally the constituents will completely so the constituents now will completely separate from each other. You can see the third diagram, and concentrate at an equilibrium concentration surrounded by the sharp electrical field differences. So as a result of that, they will be separating as a different sharp different zones. So sharp different zones are separated, and these are the different unlike molecules. So it's been used in the separation of proteins. The next one we'll see the isoelectric focusing. The principle behind this is, as we know, all the proteins have an isoelectric pH. So isoelectric pH is nothing but it is a pH when the molecule has net zero. So it will have both positive and negative charges on it. As a result of that, the net charge will be zero on the molecule. So that status is called as the isoelectric molecule, and the pH at which it exists is called as isoelectric pH. So when the electrophoresis is run in a solution buffered at constant pH, the proteins which are having a net charge will migrate towards the opposite electrodes so long as the current flows. The use of pH gradient across the supporting medium causes each protein to migrate to an area of a specific pH. So the proteins are found at the point of the gradient where they carry no net charge. So the pH of the protein equals to the pH of the gradient. So thus by resulting in a sharp, well-defined protein bands. So the advantages are, as the spreading of the bands is minimized due to the application of the applied field and the pH gradient, the high resolution can be achieved, and the proteins that offer by as little as 0.01 units can be adequately resolved. So the disadvantage is the carrier ampholites generally are used in relative to high concentration. So a high voltage power source that is up to 2000 volts is necessary to good cooling system is required here. So because we are applying the high voltage, it generates heat. So in order to cool it, we need to it is necessary to make an arrangement to do the cooling system. So the cooling system needs to be provided here. Application, it has been mainly used for the separation of proteins and peptides. Preparative scale the scale procedures for the isolation of purified fractions are followed, and this has been used in clinical, forensic and human genetics laboratories for the separation and identification of serum proteins by the food and agricultural industries. So also used for the research in enzymology, membrane biochemistry, microbiology and immunology.